Greetings everyone, and today's video we're going to do a swim in the deep and dark waters of active listening, which is one of the key components of being a compassionate leader, and I'd say it's a life skill, full stop. I really want to mention that as a compassionate leader, what you get are thoroughly engaged team members. You get more productivity, you get staff members that are feeling well at their best and they are enjoying coming to work. Tends to work really well. It scares some people being a leader in that kind of way because it challenges your preconceived ideas of what a manager is or what a leader is, and we know the two different things. So for some of you it's a bit of a, do I really want to do this? Can I abandon what I thought was a good leader was or a good manager was? Let's see. So for today, it's literally active listening. Great. Let's get into it. There are 8 key aspects that I'm going to cover today, which is a lot, but we're going to gallop through as ever. And I really want to set the scene first. So we're thinking about a scene for where we're doing active listening, and one of the very typical ones is when you're having a one-to-one with someone. So let's set the scene. You've created an appointment with that person. You haven't just dropped in on them. You haven't just dialed them into a Zoom or a Teams meeting. You've actually booked an appointment. So first things first in that respect. Really important. That's respectful. So you will know if your appointment is a phone call, Zoom or Teams or a video call type thing, or, and it's a bit out there, actually in real life. If it's in real life, it wants to be in a private place, it wants to be somewhere where the door can be shut, those kinds of things. I'm pointing out the obvious, but you would be surprised how many people call a one-to-one just kind of ad hoc, on the go, on the move, boom, tick the box, saw that person. Okay, we're not doing it like that. So the first thing is about full attention. Now, to give that full attention, you really need to focus, which means not having a sneaky look at your phone, not carrying on with your emails as you go along, and that's the peril of being online. It really means, okay, this person and this person only. So you might have to do things like literally close your laptop if that's how you work, turn your phone over, put it out of your sight, because these things distract and we're moving away from that. So it's very easy to show you how it doesn't look like. You're going to master how it does look like. So taking those actions will really help. Yeah, we've got this time now for us to, we've got our time together now, okay, so, all right, I'll clear those things away now and let me focus on you. Yeah, but there's just this email, hang on. The second part of this, and it's linked to the first part, is showing attention through your use of non-verbal cues communication. So let's see how Donna, that's me, gets on with it. Eye contact, right, yep, got you there, eye contact, I'm doing it, eye contact, no blinking. And yes, yeah, I know, I'm meant to do the nodding. The nodding shows that I am indeed paying attention. Yes, that's right. Open posture, my posture's open, I'm nodding, and I have the eye contact. I think I need to just keep it natural. So she's touching on the main things, you want the eye contact, you want some nodding, you want some leaning in, you want the things that convey that you're paying attention. Now, the trick here is not just convey it, actually do pay attention. And it does come back to being natural, because when we follow the script, it becomes unnatural because we're trying, but it's like any skill. The more you practice it, the more you do it naturally. And also let your personality show through. And that's okay. But they're the principles of it, so make it your own. Yes, this third one is about avoiding interrupting. Now, sometimes in meetings, we have an agenda. As a leader, we have an agenda. We want to pass some work on. We might want to give some feedback. We've got stuff we want to cover. But really, we need to start with what that person, their agenda is, that member of the team. That's really important. So we're getting some balance there, and that's us moving from being on send to we're going into receiving mode. So that's absolutely critical, really important. And that can be a real switch for some of us, thinking, oh, right, okay, so what do I do? Because we want roles, we want to know what we're doing. We're in doings, when actually not. We're actually in beings mode. So we just have to be, there. So one of the things we can do is not interrupt. How do we interrupt and why do we interrupt? We interrupt because we think we know better. We interrupt because some random thought popped in our head and we feel obliged for it to spill out of our mouth. We interrupt because we want to help. We want to offer a solution. We know the answer to this one. We know what to do. We know what to do. We know what to do, and we want to tell you. No, it's shush. Now listen and seek to understand and ask more questions and get a full picture. And so you are literally resisting that interrupting, resisting imposing yourself on that person. Why do we do this? And it is important. The person needs to feel heard. The person wants to feel like you give two hoots about them. The person wants you to know their story. And it's not necessarily going to be neutral. They may be angry, they may be sad, they may be a bit annoyed about the work situation, and you have to be able to sit and listen. So that's an exercise in itself, and that's the challenge I'm giving you for this week, is to not interrupt and literally listen.
Yeah, no, I hear that, but just wait, because you know that conversation's one that we've had before, and no, I can hear you, but you've got to hear what I've got to say here. It's really important. Yeah, no, you listen. You need to listen to me now. Yeah, you listen to me. Yeah.
The fourth aspect is around reflecting and paraphrasing. So that's a thing we do to pull together what the person's been saying, and we'd call that paraphrasing. It's, they've told you about this and this and this and this, and so we're paraphrasing it, pulling it together and reflecting back to them in our words what we've understood by what they said. And this is why you have to listen, right? So you might be thinking, they're banging on a bit. What's for lunch? I've got another meeting. What is it again? You've got to avoid that. You've got to stay present. You've got to stay tuned in. So in order to paraphrase, you really have to have caught what they said and what they meant by it. So we use words, and we also convey by non-verbals, a lot of what we don't say, and a lot of how we say things. So you've got to capture that and reflect it back, and you use your own words to do that. That's absolutely fine. But that allows that person to say, yeah, you've got it, or no, I didn't mean that, I meant this. So we get to a point where we've got shared understanding, which is where we want to be. And we still haven't given any solutions. Hurrah.
Yeah, I'm not that clear what you're on about. So shall we just move on, because I don't get it. So I think what you're saying is that you've got trouble at home and there's something with your partner, but no, let's move on. Let's move on.
The fifth one is these beautiful open-ended questions. Now, yes, you could say, Donna, this is old news. And it is in many respects, but it's true, we need to ask open-ended questions. It's easy to ask the closed ones, and it's a mere tweak to make them open. Ask a broad question, how are you? Rather than suggesting to somebody that they're actually okay. You can ask, how is this project going on? How is the Jewel project? Rather than closing it down to a yes, no answer. We want the open, juicy questions. Now, we do sometimes ask closed questions, or when we want to clarify. So are you saying this or this? So that's where you would use them. So they're not struck off the menu entirely, but you use them judiciously for clarifying purposes. So asking the open question, again, it conveys you're interested, you want to know the full situation, you want to hear from that person, you have patience and time for them, you are willing to listen, you want to be with them in that moment. So that's why we do that.
So you're all good? You settled into the new role yet? And has Raheem handed over the Jewel project? And that's going fine, yeah? So any questions for me?
Okay, so moving on, we have a lovely combination of kind of showing empathy, validation, and we kind of want to use a bit of silence, which can draw out more of that story. The validation is where we use affirming language to convey that we've heard and understood, and the empathy comes in by kind of reflecting in or stepping in with the narrative of what that person was saying. Like, they're describing how frustrated they've been. You might say, oh goodness me, yes, that really does sound frustrating. You're echoing back their emotional state, which validates it, which means you accept it and you've heard it and you get it. And so it's kind of a package. One of the things in that is the use of silence, which some people are really comfortable with, and it just allows space, just allows things to percolate a little bit. When we jump into that silence, because sometimes we're really conditioned to not like the silence, we feel we've got to fill it with words. When we resist that, sometimes that person just wanted that moment to sort the thoughts out, and they may come with more in-depth stuff. So it's a bit of a package of bringing those things together. It's, can you tolerate sitting in the mud with somebody? And that mud might be work mud, it might be personal mud. And, you know, as a leader or a manager, you're desperately wanting a solution. Bring that forward, and because you want to do your leading. But yeah, it's just sit with it.
Oh, right. So how long have you had the cat? Well, that's a good age, isn't it? Yeah, you could have some time off, I guess. If you've got some leave left, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, okay, let's move on.
When you've moved through this, we then move to a kind of a global summarising, and we move into next steps. Now, right at the start, when we set our scene, one of the things you can do, and I do this a lot, is I might say something like, okay, so we've got about 30 minutes today. What do you want to cover? So the idea is the person brings their agenda first. So the person is served first. You might ask some of your open-ended questions. Well, how do you feel you want to move forward with that? What would be helpful to you right now? So you might have tweaked some of those out. So now's the time to bring these together as a beautiful plan. So you'll summarise next steps. And that's pretty well what you're looking at with active listening. So I'm hoping that you took something from that. And I'll see you in the next video. If you want to know more about compassionate leadership, there's a video here. Might be on that side, I don't know, but good day.